Good morning, AP Human Geography students. My name is Miss Jackson, and I know that I've already met many of you who have come into the live meeting, but just in case, I wanted to record today's meeting so that if anybody was having tech difficulties or didn't quite know what to do, that they would be able to have access to what we did today. So one of the first things that you should see on your computer screen is the Google Classroom. And so this is block one. If you're in block two, don't be alarmed. I wasn't going to record this twice. I'm talking about the same stuff here. So your Google Classroom should look very similar. And the first thing that you're going to see in Google Classroom is going to be under Stream, and it's going to be the Join Conversation meeting link for Microsoft Teams. So if you click on that link, it should take you to our meetings when we're expected to hold class every day. And so every morning you'll have a new link so that you can be able to click on that to get into the course really fast. Really important that you show up on time. Also important that you remain engaged when you are in class. The classes are not very long, but don't try to multitask. I always make that mistake and then find that it ends up taking me a lot more time to just go back and learn what I should have got the first time because I was busy, trying to run errands or, listen to music or maybe watch something in the background. Really not worth it. Try to give all of your attention to what it is that we're doing on a day-to-day basis in class. We're going to be moving really fast, covering a lot of information. You're going to learn a lot about the world. And so, again, very important for you to be as engaged as possible. I will try my best to have the nitty-gritty of what we do every day recorded and posted online so that you have access to it. But the best way that you can make sure that you get the material is by showing up to class during the designated times in which class is being held. Also, keep in mind that we're going to be taking roll. And so attendance will be taken. Your attendance is going to be something we pay attention to. So, keep that in mind. You don't want to call home if you're not showing up to your classes. All right, so now that we've covered how to get into the meetings through your Google Classroom, you can go ahead and scroll down to one of the very first things that I had posted, and that is the syllabus. So if you click on that, don't worry, I'm not going to be going over this whole thing. I do expect for you to go back and look at it in more detail. You should be looking at it with your parents, and at the end of the syllabus, you will see 2 Google Forms, one for you and one for a parent or guardian, and I will need that. That'll be one of your first assignments that you're going to have to get done. So, when we go through this Google slide presentation, you will find a description of the course, AP Human Geography. And one of the questions that I always get about human geography is, what is it? Like, how is it different from regular geography? And so I teach both courses here at Vista, and one of both courses is required for you to be able to take AP World History. And so a lot of people take it because they have to. But I think it's one of the greatest classes that I teach. I think that most students are really happy that they took it and feel like they do know more about the world after they take it. But rather than geography being more focused on region to region, so the chapters correspond with regions in relation to physical geography, political geography, and cultural geography. You've got human geography that's very much focused on this human relationship between, people and the world that we live in, or the environment, how they change the cultural landscape, how they hurt the environment, pollute the environment, ways that they try to figure out how to sustain the environment. And so really, rather than going region to region, you're going to be looking at bigger concepts surrounding human behavior. So you're going to be looking at migration, you're going to be looking at population patterns, you're going to be looking at religion, ethnicity, you'll be looking at urban settlements and development. And so that's what, and as you can see here, there are about 7 units you're going to be covering, and so we're going to be going into depth into a lot of topics. So we do go quick, as I mentioned before. You're going to be learning a lot, so just make sure that you're staying on top of your reading, you're staying on top of the content and your assignments. So here are some basic expectations. Be very respectful when you're taking this class. When you are taking this class, it is important to remember that you are a global citizen. And so we're going to be learning a lot about the United Nations. And although the United Nations, there are plenty of things that we can talk about in which might be very negative or maybe criticisms when it comes to the United Nations. At the end of the day, it does help us when we utilize it and when we learn about it to maybe understand what it means to try our best to unify in a way that is really looking out for humans, our fellow humans in general. So what we're going to be doing in this class is UN simulations. And so you all get a chance to be a diplomat from a country. And so we'll get together and talk about some really important issues and by chance some challenges that are facing the world today that maybe the UN would have a vested interest in trying to respond to or try to alleviate. And so be on time. I know I already talked about this. Be prepared to succeed. Like I said, be present. Don't be doing other things. Don't do something in which could steal your attention. You want all your attention to be on your studies and on your work and on the class and what we're learning. Be an example online. Always be conscious that, everything is out there. So be very conscious of your digital footprint. Be a person of integrity. This class is preparing you for the AP exam. Don't cut corners. Don't turn in work that isn't yours. Whatever you are not doing is just stuff you're not learning that you're going to need to learn and master to prove that you are worthy of college credit for that AP exam. So as I mentioned before, look at this class as really preparation for the big show, for you to be able to earn the credit that you're taking this course for. All right, so some important virtual learning. So as I mentioned before, we've got Google Classroom, you've got Microsoft Teams that you're going to be utilizing every day to get into your classes. Yes, participation is going to matter quite a bit in this class. We're going to be doing interactive learning. We'll be doing breakout rooms. You'll be doing some Flipgrid. We'll have quite a bit of discussion. And so I'll talk about that a little bit more as the course progresses. As far as communication is concerned, email is always the best way to get a hold of me. However, there's also this chunk at the end of the day in which you can utilize Microsoft Teams to call your teachers. And so I'll have that on till about 3:15 or so. So if you want to reach me that way and be able to talk to me on the phone, that is always an option. But email is always the best way because I check that throughout the day. As far as other applications, I will get you a remind code soon so that I can send you announcements through text message. And then sign up is also another thing that you'll probably be downloading to make the signups of certain assignments or projects that much easier. Flipgrid, which I'm sure you're using in a lot of your classes. And then, of course, PowerSchool, very important. That's where the legitimacy of your grade or like your concrete grades and scores are going to be posted. So even though you'll see things in Google Classroom, there are some limitations, especially with a 4-point scale. So you want to trust that your grade in PowerSchool is, in fact, your grade. So as far as grading, we are grading on the 4-point scale. You might want to take a look at that. It takes a minute to wrap your head around sometimes the first few assignments, even in the grade book, for you to really gauge what those points mean. But generally speaking, a 4 will correspond to an A, a 3 to a B, a 2 to a C, and so on. So our class is going to be broken into 2 different categories. You've got your formative assessments and your summative assessments. Your formative assessments are going to be the practice work for your exams or the way you're going to be assessed for the unit. So you've got note taking, maybe your quizzes, maybe you've got discussion boards, different activities. That'll all be worth 30%. As far as the summatives are concerned, they'll look a little different than they usually do. They're probably going to be more writing based, more oral based. And so, or you might have a project. And so that's going to make up about 70%. And we'll learn more about the different types of things we'll be doing later on. We can go ahead and skip over that. We'll be watching different film clips also, so keep that in mind. They'll come from a variety of different places and areas, but they're always going to have educational purpose and help teach you about what's going on in the world. As far as late work is concerned, you have 2 days from the original due date to turn that in. And so always keep in mind that Your work for a unit is really no good if you've already taken the test and you're backtracking, because the whole point is that work is preparing you for your assessments. So please keep that in mind. That's one of the main reasons why late work is not accepted unless it is prior to taking the assessment for that particular unit in which the work is due. Absences, I can't stress this enough. We're going to be keeping roll, and we're going to be keeping track of who's showing up to class. So just make sure that you're signed in and make sure that you are present in the class and that you are participating in the activities. All right, final step is going to be the actual form. So if you click on these links, you will get to the forms. And so you've got your parent form, your student form. You need to turn both of those in order to get credit. Okay. And so that is the syllabus. The next thing that I would like to take a look at is going to be the posted assignment, and that is titled Map Quizzes, 20 total. Oh my goodness, is Miss Jackson mad? Why would she make us do 20 quizzes? Well, this is probably the most vital foundational piece that you need to be successful in this class, because every unit will look into the spatial differences from region to region around the world when it comes to certain topics, certain categories. So you do not need to know your political geography pretty well. And so there are, a lot of different quizzes that you'll need to take. 17 required, 3 you get to pick on your own from the category of world. And so the instructions are in there. But yes, you do have 20 that you'll have to do. But you know what? You have 4 weeks to do it. You can do it. I believe in you. The sooner the better, though. So if you've got more free time earlier on, might as well get on that. They're actually really fun quizzes that you do online. Some people just do them for fun anyway. That's why the site exists. So I think the sooner you do it, the more comfortable you're going to be in the class. All right, next thing, and the last thing we're going to be doing is going into Miss Jackson's Bitmoji classroom. So you've got a little description of AP Human Geography on the whiteboard, something I've already discussed and addressed, but you can read that again on your own, and you'll always have access to this in Google Classroom. But just some cool icons that I would be aware of. BBC News, which is going to be the channel that you use on YouTube when you're looking up segments that you want to address in the discussion boards on Google Classroom. And so this is an international news source, and you'll have a lot of free reign in being able to decide what segments you want to watch and what events you want to cover. But on the discussion boards, you're going to have a series of questions, and you don't have to answer all those questions. They're really just prompting you, and you can start a conversation or discussion. You want to include the link to your video, and others can either watch that video and also respond to your post, or they can start a brand new one and watch a different segment. So anyway, really important source that you want to be familiar with and channel you want to be familiar with, because you'll be doing those posts every week. The next icon right here will take you to the mapping website where you'll find all your map quizzes. And so the sooner you start, the better. The way that you turn those in, please don't turn them in one at a time. I don't want 20 different submissions from you. What I would like for you to do is either collect all of your time-stamped screenshots of your score and upload those and send those to me, or you can do them 5 at a time so that you can get, scores for at least a few of them progressively. And so the timestamp is really important, vital that I know that you actually did take that quiz. I want to see a score there. Your scores need to be at least a 90% or higher, or you have to take the quiz again until you do. And then I'll issue you a score for that. But yes, you'll have 4 weeks to be able to get all of that done. The next little icon you have here is the Vista Eagle. So if you click on that, it'll take you to the Vista website, and really important for you to familiarize yourself with that website, because it's going to have the bell schedule on it. It'll have links to different clubs. It'll have all the teacher websites on it. It'll have any important announcements. Flex time, that's going to be how you sign up. That's the website you would use to sign up there. Getting to vote for different things. That will all be available on the Vista website. All right. Some of it are just kind of